Okay, so it's tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, we will consider the visual analytics. So you see this cybersecurity, not only this automatic way. This is also human way. Yes, this human, the chief, he decided what to do. So it is very important to give good information to human. So day after tomorrow, very interesting, I will show this different user interfaces for the cybersecurity, which are very useful for the cybersecurity task. So this is some research from research work and from the commercial systems, so which are used now for the cybersecurity. And next day, we will consider the security assessment and security security information event management systems. So this, for example, I participated in development of such kind of system, so we will consider this. And the last day we considered some tutorial about attacks and attack graphs, and we will have some small exam for certification. If you would like to have a certification, you need to. So please be attentive on my lecture here, but you could could have the access to this presentation. Of course. Okay, I'm starting the second lecture today. And so this is security risk management. In the lecture number 1, I told that this is very important because we need to evaluate our asset, how to protect them. We couldn't give all these security resources to all the assets. This is because it is impossible, yeah? Because we need to have something for the business task, yeah? Because if we don't fulfill the business task, why we need these computers, yeah? So this cybersecurity is supporting way, yeah? This is supporting, it is to defend our system from malfactor, but to protect against different attacks. But of course, the main function of computer to fulfill the business tasks. Yes, and if we have 100% of security resources for the fulfillment, yeah. So this it means that we could switch off our computer and never do. You understand it, yeah? Okay. So this is very important to understand this way to security risk management. Okay, so what will we do? I will try to very quickly. Of course, this is a very deep thing, so a lot of questions here, but I will try to survive it for during one hour. So this at first, overview. What does it mean risk? What does it mean risk management? What kind of processes it includes? Then we consider some functions of the risk management or stages of risk management. This is a risk identification, assessment, and control. So at first we identify what we need to defend. Then we assess, is it okay or not? And then we control, so we manage it, how it works. And then some recommendation for self-practice for cybersecurity, so according to this security management process. So maybe this is my recommendation how to defend your computer. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. It's interesting for you. Okay. Maybe this is a little bit theoretical, of course, according to the first lecture, because in first lecture I give a lot of examples. I show this. But this is for 1 hour. Of course, I need very quickly to show what is it. But I try to illustrate somehow. Okay. So the first, of course, we should be based on the standards. There are huge quantity of standards for the risk management, and this is some examples. So, do you know what ICO means? You see this standard, ICO. So this is if you work in the mobile computing, if you work in telecommunication, you need to know it. Yes, of course. This is an international standard organization. Yes, and a lot of standards devoted to risk analysis, to risk management. So also this you see this NIST, some document of NIST. What does it mean NIST? Do you know this? This is American, yes, institute. Of course, in each country there are their own standards. In India, in Russia also. So, for example, in Russia now we only based on our Russian standards now. So, but of course, maybe they inherit some of some of the specification and functions from this standard. So this is very important. So what I will tell about this, of course, based on these standards. Okay. Then this is a slide you have seen on the first lecture. Yeah. But again, this is very important. This is a policy of the system. So what we should do, how we should protect, what we should do in case of the attacks, in case of disaster. So how we behave during different attack vectors. I described these attack vectors, yes, in the lecture number 1. So this is very important. And this is what does it mean. Commonly, this is a security policy and how to fulfill this security policy during these different attacks. And so again, how to protect system. This is a fundament. This is a base for security risk management. Okay, and definition of risk. What does it mean, security risk? So you see, this is a measure of the extent to which an entity is treated by the potential circumstance of event. So it's some kind of risk. This is a measure, you see. This is a measure extent in which the entity is threatened by potential circumstances. So for example, if we have phishing attacks, so risk against, we should see how it is protected against phishing attacks. So this is maybe some quantitative or qualitative, it could be as a quantitative measure which tells it we are protected or not, we are not protected, or maybe 0.5. That doesn't mean we didn't protect it and we could be attacked. Yeah, this 0, but if 0.999999 is great, but this is impossible usually. Okay, and how to calculate? So you see this. We need to know the impact of this attack, for example, and we need to know this probability of this. So usually this is we need to have the probabilities of this and need to the impact. There's some, for example, quantitative measure of impact. So this is a risk. And also this is important security system development life cycle. Usually in our system, we need to build a secure system. And we have also system development life cycle. But here we consider security life cycle. This is close, but this is of course related to security life cycle. So, sorry, this is a mistake. Yeah, this is not. Okay, and so we need to build a secure system. So we need to, during design, we need to build the security system. And also we need to do this risk analysis during security design. This is important. Why this is related? Maybe this, when we already have the system and we try to access the risk, or when we build the system, and also we need to access the risk. Okay, so this consider this, what does it mean risk management process? So it includes three major phases on the takings. So at first we need to identify risk. The second, assess it. And then try to manage to control them. So three different processes. So number one, risk identification. So we need to examine the and consider the documentation of security to investigate security posture. This is important, yes. Then a risk assessment to determine the extent, so to determine the risk, to define the risk. And the control, this is, we try to manage this process. And this way, that's scheme of this. But you know this Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu, do you know this book of Chinese wisdom thinker? Yes. So if we are in the war, we need to know yourself, our possibilities, yes? Then we need to know enemy, yeah? We need to know roles of the communities of interest. So we need to know the subject object which are manipulated. So if we didn't know the enemy, we lost the game. We lost the battle, yeah? If you don't know yourself, so we couldn't manage our resources. So the same for the risk management. So for the risk identification, we need to identify inventory assets. So this the main object, yes, which we have, data, processes, equipment, and so we consider it later. We need to classify and prioritize them. So which are more priorities, so where we should give more resources for protection. So this identify and prioritize threats. So this we need to consider what kind of threats could be done against our assets. So this identification. Then having this, we doing the risk assessment. So we identify vulnerabilities and threats, and identify and quantify assets exposure using this. And risk control, we try to manage. So selecting the strategy, justify controls, and implement and monitor control. So this is usual, this is important. The same, if you are not a specialist in security of company, but you have your own computer, you should do the same. Yes, but this, of course, not so many things of your computer. So you need to decide. For example, for smartphone, you need to decide what is the most important information. Is it possible to save in the telephone or maybe if to save, maybe it need to be encrypted here. Yes. What kind of password to use? Is it strong or not strong? Where to save it? Yes, I'm told about this in previous lecture. Yeah, but the same here. So you should define, prioritize your assets. You should decide what kind of attack against my smartphone here and decide, and then how to manage during different situation. It's clear? Yes. Okay, so the phase number one, risk identification. Okay, so this is a plan, what to do. So to plan to organize this process, categorize system component, so categorize assets, prioritize assets, prioritize threats, and specify assets vulnerabilities. So this risk management categorization, the first of this, so this categorize system component. So this one. So what we do, we should do. So this we should enumerate assets. What kind of assets? So we have people, procedure, data, other information, software application, hardware, different network elements. So all these are assets. This is important for us. So we need to establish here this relative priority for organization. Of course, I'm talking first time for big organization, for companies, for governmental organizations. But of course, it's related to the individual computing resources. So we need to categorize these different assets to select maybe for different, to classify them for different priorities. People can be classified, procedures, data components, software, hardware. And this is a table example. So this is a traditional system component you see. This is a component for the when we try to develop them. And this is a risk management system component. So for example, people, it could be employers, yes, in organization. So we could trust somebody, and maybe the other we don't know, yeah. But this is example. You could classify in another way. Then we have non-employers. So this could be people at trusted organizations. So this may be the colleagues from the other companies, and some maybe guests in your system. So this is they should have different rights. So this for us is this and different priorities for the protection. The same for the other assets you see here. Then questions when we're doing this risk identification, we need to ask the question. So you see, for example, which information asset is the most critical to the success of organization? For example, this is some kind of information which are very important for organization. If such kind of organization can be given to the competitors, so the company lost. Yes? So for us, it's very, very important this. And then which information asset generates the most revenue? So what is important for the company to get the money here? And the other questions. So this is risk identification questions, very important. Okay, and this is an example for information asset valuation. So this is a simple inventory worksheet which I use. So for example, this is an example of kind of information we have. So how we classify it, for example, confidential or private, and impact on the profitability. So this, maybe in this case, we have four gradations. So this high, medium, low, and critical, something like this. Or three gradations, just critical, medium, and high. Yeah. So it depends, but this is what values we have. The same for the networks, for the demilitarized zone. So this we need to do this. This is example, for example, for the bold document. So this document, logistic boulders, yes, bill of lading. So this example of this bold for the company, this document is very important to take into account. Okay, and now this prioritization. So how to do this? Usually it could be done by numbers or by some qualitative. For example, small, medium, high, something like this. Here are the numbers. So we have different kinds of information assets and different criteria, for example, impact to revenue, impact to profitability, and we try to classify them. Then here you see this some clarification, yes, so in this case we use numbers from 0.1 to 1. This is recommended by NIST, this one, for this document. And we also have these critical factors from 1 to 100. So this, you see this from 0 to 1, this is, and here for from 1 to 100. So, but it depends, it's the usual. So this is just example how to do this, how to select different priority values. Okay, then we should classify the treats. So you see the list of treats. For each company, it could be different. So, for example, it could be just attacks, some treats which are expressed by attacks. But here you see this some qualitative treats. So this, for example, compromise to intellectual property for the company, espionage, human error and failure, information extortion, and some others. So this is some explanation. So the company select this kind of treats for you, and then it needs to also on this to answer to some questions. For example, which treats present a danger to the organization assets in the given environment? Which treats represent the most danger in the organization information? So again, we need to select priority values for each treats. This is important. And what kind of document we have after this? So usually this is some kind of information asset classification, then weighted criteria analysis, and ranked vulnerability risk definition here. This. So we have this as a result of this phase. And example of some case study how to rank in vulnerabilities. So, for example, this assets. This asset impact on relative value or relative value from 1 to 100. This is a kind of vulnerability we use, and vulnerability likelihood and risk rating factor. For example, custom service request via email inbound. So this email disruption due to hardware feature. So this is a risk could be if important email go to organization, but we lost it in some case. We need to have maybe some vulnerability likelihood and risk rating factor, so risk value here is. And the same for all the events. SSL, this is a protocol. This is a security protocol, this encrypted security protocol and exchange messages. This one, yeah. But you use it. You don't know, but you use this system. Okay, risk assessment. So now we have assets and we have marks for priorities of assets. We have treats. We have marks for priority of the treats. We have vulnerabilities and priorities. And now we need to assess the risk. So this assess likelihood of attack vulnerabilities, calculate relative risk factor, review possible control, and to prepare a document. You remember that what is a risk, yes? How we calculate the risk? Who can answer? How to calculate? In one of the first slides, I explained it. Who can answer? Again, risk, this is impact value and probability, yeah? So we need to somehow to combine these factors. Usually this just try to multiply them, okay? And risk control strategies. So we have the different strategies, for example, for incident response, for disaster recovery, and business continuity for the company. So this some kind of strategies in different situations. Here, this in case of the incidents. Here, if we already have been, for example, on the attack, and we now need to recover the state of the cybersecurity and state of our assets. And this is a business continuity plan. So what to do, yeah, and how to survive this. So this step to ensure continuation of the overall business in this case. Usually for the big company, all these big company have this. This is very important for them. And usually, of course, maybe each, for example, very big bank had a lot of losses. But of course, he never tells about this. This is because reputation of the bank, yeah? But for calculation, for example, he could calculate this. He could calculate the losses. He could do this document and decide. Usually they do. So this is very, very important. And one of the strategies is accept. What does it mean? That we just accept the current situation. So this choice to do nothing to protect. Yes, vulnerability and to accept. But this is possible. This strategy is possible, but this is the conditions. In what case? So, for example, this is for if we determine the level of risk, assessed the probability of attack, estimated the potential damage, performed cost-benefit analysis, evaluated controls, and decided that the particular function, service, information, assets didn't justify the cost of protection. Because I can tell you that we couldn't protect all the assets. So some of them very important. So they have a high priority. Of course, we need to do. But some of them, if the cost of the maybe our action cost more than, yes, in case of the risk fulfilled. Yes, so we need. So why we need this risk management? This is again to define what kind of assets we need to protect, how to protect this, and maybe what kind of assets don't need this. Maybe already some tools they exist in organizations, and this is enough. Of course, for example, we could evaluate. We are a small company, maybe some hacker team from the I don't know, from Russia will not compromise us. Yes, which sponsored by a nation. Why this? Of course, this could break the system, penetrate it, yeah, and get the information, destroy everything. But why to do this? This is just, sorry, just example. This, okay, so it depends from the conditions, what kind of organization, what is the kind of assets, how high rank in this organization, and so on. So This is very important. Okay, and risk handling overflow. So you see this just as I'm a researcher, yeah? So this is, of course, some algorithm. What to do in this case. So this, for example, identify viable threats. We identify viable threats. And then system as designed. Is system vulnerable? No, no risk. No vulnerable, no risk. Yeah. But this is not usually not the case. Usually it will vulnerable. Vulnerable, yes. Is system exploitable? No, it's switch off. So computer switch off. No risk. Exploitable, yes, exploitable. Of course, there is a risk. Vulnerability exists, yes. Threat and vulnerability exist. We go, risk exists. So this is, of course, maybe very schematic, yeah, very common. But again, this is to show that some of the assets will need protection, some of them not. If risk exists, if the attackers gain more than cost, no, risk may be accepted. It's okay. If the attacker gain more than cost, yes. Is expected loss more than organization acceptable level? Yes. Risk is unacceptable. So we need to do something with this. So you should understand these calculations for the system, for the company. And this is important. And this is a strategy for risk control. So this is a cycle. So there's, you don't see this begin and end. This is continuation. So this is a process continues as the organization continues to function. So we need to continuously monitor, identify information assets, prepare rank and vulnerability risk worksheet, develop control strategy and plan. Then you see implement control, access it. Control adequate? No. Again, redevelop. And again, adequate? Yes. Plan to manage this, measure risk. Acceptable risk? Yes. Measure risk? Yes. Пошли. So this cycle. In some cases, not acceptable. Redevelop. This usual process, and there should be in the company the people who are responsible for this, who are doing this. And also we should have two kinds of risk control, quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative. So we use some measurable data and statistical analysis to assess and control risk. And we play with numerical values of this risk. For example, what kind of mathematical approach? This is traditional Monte Carlo simulation could be done. So decision tree analysis, sensitivity analysis, and so on. So, for example, 2 years ago, I write the book. This is called risk management. So in this book, we describe the quantitative technique, how to calculate all the risk for the computer attacks, for different computer attacks. So this is one book full of mathematical formulas, how to formulate. Of course, here I just describe it on high level, yeah, this one. But maybe in the one of the lecture later in the security assessment, I will show some of them approaches. And qualitative risk control. So this And so we use, of course, quantitative measures here, you see. And there are a lot of techniques of such a way how to calculate the risk and how to fulfill the risk control. Okay, and the last, very important, that might be my advices for you and what to do. So these important rules for cybersecurity. So number one, use antivirus software. So usually it is included in the operating system. You need to use it. So for the most cases of the malware, you will be protected. This is important. But for new cases, of course, you need to see the new patches. This is important, new signatures. Usually this is signature-based approach in the current. Then use strong password. Simple password, for example, name of my mother or my father. This is not good. Or this because of course it is it's not hard to remember this, to save in the memory. Yeah, this. But this is very good way for the different password guessing applications. So they have the vocabulary, and they will find your password during several seconds. So this may be milliseconds. But of course, for strong, my advice, just use the different register. So you use different register, and it is also not very hard to save in the memory in this case. So, for example, you know the vault, but you using different register, and you could use this. Because if you have a strong password and you write it, and write it in your book, or save in the system, hacker goes at first. The first action of the hacker to find these files with passwords. He found it. Usually, you left what password can be used for what kind of applications. Yeah. Oh, okay. And he goes, especially if it is for the banks, for the your cards, and so this is the first way how to get your money. Yeah, for example. And then verify your software security settings. So this is very important. So this is very simple. Just see these main settings in your system, for example, in smartphone or the system, and what they are responsible for. And if you need this, so there are several possibilities. And also, usually there is some initial value. And if, especially if you know this, working with Linux systems, of course, it should be changed. This first action of the hacker to try to use this initial value of some parameters. Update security. You know this. Yes, this should be patched, and you should see this. Build personal firewall. So of course, you should include some protection against some network traffic, some malicious traffic, which usually you don't use. For example, for some ports, for some applications, some which use some Thunder ports, for some of the source addresses, and so this is important. Usually, a company present these sets of the adjustments for the firewalls, so you could download it and maybe add your own. Backup early and often. Maybe you know this, yeah. So you could delete something very important, and then you lost all your work. Yeah, this is important. This is maybe not malicious, but this is your mistake. Yeah. So this So you need to have a copy, or usually not the same place. Yeah. So maybe this could be some procedure after some automatic procedure. We save all the work, all your work for the day, for the hour. It depends. And protect against. Sorry. Okay. Protect against power surges and loss. Oh, this example today was, yeah. So, but maybe in my case, of course, I could have a notebook, yes, to see, yes, and continue the lecture, yes, to show in the notebook here, because there's a lot of assets not controllable by me, yeah, in this case. Okay, do you have questions about this? So this is very simple rules. Of course, I'm not maybe practitioner, security specialist. I'm a researcher, or I'm trying to teach students. Yeah, this. But this is important for you, and this is related to this security risk management also. So you manage your. So you have a plan of your work, yeah, somehow individual, yeah. Okay, and this is well known, but maybe you don't know, yes. So this is the 10 immutable laws of security. This is Microsoft, this interesting rules. So let's consider each of them. So this is life, it's practice. So law number 1, if a bad guy can persuade you to run his program on your computer, yes, it's not your computer anywhere. Yes? So what does it mean? So if you see, maybe you go to the website, and website suggests, please install, this is a good program. You could fulfill it and you get a lot of benefits. Yeah? You install it, yes, maybe some benefit you get, but also you get some maybe malicious, and usually, of course, it depends if you trust the company, but you know this phishing, yeah? So the company try to imitate this website which you use, yes? So don't install this program. That's number 1, when somebody suggests you. Number 2, if the bad guy can alter the operating system on your computer. Maybe they suggest also maybe to add something. But you don't know what is it. Especially you are in the internet, you also to do this suggestion. This is not the site of the company which producer of this software, but maybe this faked website, the same. Number 3, if a bad guy has unrestricted physical access to your computer. So you left your computer, it is without password, somebody goes through, and somebody have done. Maybe he installed some software for monitoring your activity. Yeah? For example, notebook has a camera, so everybody could see what you're doing in this. Yeah, this not good, yeah, for you. Okay. If you allow bad guy to upload programs to your website. Okay, we discussed this. Weak password trumps strong security. I told about this. Yeah. A machine is only secure as the administrator is trustworthy. So of course it depends from the administrator. So he is a boss for my networks. Yeah. So he can do this. he can do everything. He knows your password. He knows knows your credential in case if he wants to do this. So these guys should be very trustworthy. Yes, you should trust them, and the organization should trust. And so this should be several levels of control of the verifying for the working of this. So this administrator, for them there's another administrator higher. So they should control all the activity. So this is important. Encrypted data is only as secure as the decryption key. So this, of course, nobody should need the decryption key who don't have the rights to have this decryption key. This is important. Out-to-date virus scanner is the same as without antivirus scanner. So this is important. So why it is important to review this, to have the last updates. Absolute anonymity is not practical in real life, is on the web. Yes, so this, of course, it's possible to hidden your name, everything to hidden, but in many cases, in many applications which are important for the life, this is not practical. Yeah, so this, so why we talking about this risk management aspects? So we need to leave some risk. This is because we need to work. But we need to know about this risk which are connected with such a way, such as things. Yeah, that we have. This is again, this is a life. In life, impossible. For example, now it is impossible to protect against all the attacks. There are new attacks which penetrate our system. So it depends from the resource of the malefactors. For example, why we select different malefactor from the maybe novices to the nation inspired. Because nation inspired could do everything with your systems. If they, for example, your system are separated from the internet, it could be, for example, injected somehow to the system. There are a lot of systems, examples of such a way. So there are some ways how to input the information in this system, and malefactors will find these ways. So, but now these ways in the security is this is a active monitoring of the system. So we monitor actively and all the time the state of security and to see this. If we have some deviation from the normal behavior, we need to include the other level of security and try to find what is the reason in this abnormality in the system. So this, of course, this is not for the simple users. This is for the big company, that is for the government, for the military system. Technology is not a panacea. What does it mean? Who can answer? How to interpret it? Not panacea, technology. Can you? No? Who can? What does it mean? Technology, not a panacea. So that doesn't mean that not all depends from the technology, but it depends from the human. So the social engineering attack, for example, yeah? So if you protect it, but user don't know these rules, so it is not your computer. Okay, so this is important. Okay, so this is the end of the lecture. I told that I will take you only one hour. Yes, and again, why it is needed for you, such kind of lecture? This is needed to understand this. If you visited my first lecture and this lecture, you understand the situation with cybersecurity. Yes, so this is a hard problem, and there is no panacea for solving it. But you could improve security considerably if you know these rules. If you are the security specialist in the company and you could fulfill these rules, your company will be protected on the high level. I don't know this absolutely, on the high level, yes. Again, you need to know the place of your company and what kind of threats for your company. You need to know the prioritization of your threats, vulnerabilities, or what kind of asset you have, how to protect them and use this role. You have different plans and measures what to do in different cases. So this is for security. This is a way for the clear security, how to protect your system. Okay, so this is all. The next day, we will consider using AI for cybersecurity. So this is a smart protection, smart attacks against our system, attacks on AI systems, on ML, machine learning, and deepfakes. What kind of deepfakes and how to, for example, attack your system and try to generate the face of your friend who asks you to give him your password for the banking system. Yeah. It's a joke, of course. Yeah. I'm talking, but of course, a friend will not ask you about this. Yeah, you know this, but such a case could be. Yes, so this, we could generate the voice, we could generate the view of your friend. So we could provide some situation which are very close to reality, but this is virtual or fakes. So this is important. Thank you. If you have a question, please. We have some time. Any questions? Is it okay for you? Interesting. Thank you.